childhood friend, because this game, World of Warcraft, is a game that has been a part of my life for a very long time. I, as you see, own some of the boxes to the original game, and the expansions. I actually own all the expansions that exists, but I have some of the expansions in what is this called, digital form. I haven't bought the boxes or discs nowadays. So I thought we would look at the boxes I have today, at least, and just to see if it has some interesting stuff. These boxes do have, you can open them up and look at stuff. So we'll see what there is. I think World of Warcraft was a game that I think is the game I played the longest, that I have returned to. I haven't played it necessarily constantly, because I often get bored of games and need to take a break from them. So with WoW, it's the same. I have taken breaks from it and played it and returned and got bored of it and then returned to it, and so I would say sometimes you really get a feeling or that you want to play an MMO, and you play it for a couple of months and then you stop. But I think we should get started. So we'll start off by looking at this World of Warcraft battle chest, which include the original game and the Burning Crusade expansion, which is the first expansion of World of Warcraft. I wanted to look if there was something on the backside of the chest or box, but there wasn't. So let's open it. And first off, we see these are the discs. Yeah, these are the discs, which have some painting and not paintings, pictures of the game. And it has the code here on the front, but I have already used it, so it's not working anymore. And there it is, the disc. Like this picture with the elf and the dwarf. It's so remember it so strongly from when I started playing World of Warcraft. I think I started playing it just before the Burning Crusade expansion came out. But I was so young that I actually couldn't speak English, so World of Warcraft was a little hard to play for me. So I didn't play it a lot when I was young. I just remember I tried it and found it a little bit too hard. Because at that time in World of Warcraft you couldn't open the map and find the quests there. You had to search for the quests and find them without any indicator of where they were. So you had to read the quest log. And the quest log often explained where the quest was, so you had to think and look at the map. If you could see a place that maybe had the name of a place they mentioned in the quest log, or some sort of a clue to where the quest could be. And that was very difficult when you couldn't speak English, and I have never been someone that enjoys figuring out stuff like that when playing games, especially MMOs. MMOs for me is you don't have to think too much, and I enjoy that a lot. So that was a little bit too much. Okay. And the Burning Crusade. I saw that the disc had slipped out. Here we have the disc with a blood elf and a trainee elf, or what it is called. They were the first two races that entered, or was the two races that the expansion came with. It was also in World of Warcraft there are two sides. One side that is called the Horde, which is often interpreted as the evil side, and the Alliance, which is seen as the good side. It's not really that black and white, but if you explain it very basic. And those two sides had they have different classes. So the Alliance, when the game was really old, in the first game before the expansion came out of Burning Crusade, the Alliance had a class that Horde didn't have, and the Horde had a class that Alliance didn't have. Alliance had the class called Paladin, but when the expansion came out, Blood Elves, which was on the side of the Horde, had the ability to create a Paladin Blood Elf, and a trainee had the ability Alliance could have shamans as well. So I remember that was kinda special when that happened. I don't actually think I played a lot of Burning Crusade, like this expansion in particular. I think it was a well-liked expansion, but I don't actually know. And here we have a World of Warcraft game manual. Let's look at what it has. How you install the game, troubleshooting, getting started, choosing your realm, and that is like the server. How you create your character and choose your race. Yeah, here it says, your first choice when making a character is your race. The 8 races in WoW are divided into 2 factions, the Horde and Alliance. At one time in Azeroth's past, it's like the world where all this happened. The Horde was a force of evil, and the Alliance was a bastion of good. However, in today's war-torn Azeroth, such black and white distinctions are gone. Both factions are simply fighting to preserve their way of life in the wake of the Chaos War. And there it says, in the original game at least, each faction has 4 races. The Alliance is comprised of the dwarves, gnomes, humans and night elves, while the Horde consists of the orcs, Taurans, trolls and undead. Each race has a unique set of characteristics and its own list of available class choices. Some of the different races also begin in their own unique starting area, while others share a beginning region. And here they have like a little where they write about the different races, and then you choose your class. How to understand the interface. Yeah, it's like a manual how to play and understand the game. Some of the things are still the same. I think a lot actually about this basic stuff, but wow, World of Warcraft is quite different now from when the beginning, the first game. So not everything in that manual is accurate, I think. And here we have the Burning Crusade game manual. And it talks, I guess, a little bit about different stuff that is introduced in this expansion. For example, a new profession game, dual crafting, and like how items have socketed items where you could put the gems that you create into the different items. And here, Legacy of the Blood Elves, which was one of the races that entered into the with also the drain, I don't know, I think that's how you pronounce it, I don't know. So yeah, also a little game manual about that. So yeah, that was how these was like the 2 first games that I got. I actually have like a box, like I have a box like this, but with the original game, but I don't know where it is. So, because actually this game I gave to someone else, like the original game, so like the code has been used so by a friend that I had at that time, but I don't know where the original box is, where I have it. I looked for it, but I couldn't find it. So I thought we look at the battle chest instead. Okay, so let's look at the next expansion. And the next expansion is Wrath of the Lich King. Wrath of the Lich King, I think, is one of the expansions I played a little bit more, but I didn't. I think I never reached end game or max level. I don't remember. I just remember playing this expansion a bit more than the original game or the Burning Crusade. So I can read here on the back, the Lich King awaits. You have turned the tide against the demonic evils of Outland. Now the Lich King Arthas has set in motion events that will lead to the extinction of all life in Azeroth. With the undead legions of the Scourge threatening to sweep across the land, you must strike at the heart of the frozen abyss and end the Lich King's reign of terror for all time. And here we have some of the more important, like Rise as the Death Knight, master the necromantic powers of the Death Knight, World of Warcraft first hero class. Create a new Death Knight character with a starting level of 55 and break the chains of the Lich King to forge your own destiny. And they also increased the level to 80. Because in the original game the max level was 60 and then they increased it to 70 in Burning Crusade, and then they raised it to 80 in the Wrath of the Lich King. Brave the Lich King's domain. Discover the harsh, icy continent of Northrend and the bleak heart of the Lich King's empire of Undeath. The big bad guy of this expansion, I remember, was the Lich King, and all the undead he has raised or controlled. So let's open this up. I might cut because this is made loud sound. And here we have like an epic picture of the Lich King on his throne. If stare long into the abyss, and here is the map of the continent that is introduced with when the expansion was released. The abyss stares back into you, and here it's some pictures of what you could do in the expansion. This was, I think, a place where you did a lot of PvP. Here is, I think, the first place where the Alliance enters for the expansion. And here, this character here is a Death Knight. I remember this armor and the sword that this character have on the picture is the armor and weapon you have when you leave the starting zone. Leave the starting zone for Death Knights. So, I actually think that Wrath of the Lich King is one of my favorite expansions when it comes to the aesthetic of the whole expansion. I really liked the undead theme and I liked the Lich King character and like the whole but the whole thing around this, all the undead and all the characters that existed because of it. So aesthetically, even if I didn't play very much of the end game, I really like it to level in this area or those areas in Northred. So I have some good memories of Wrath of the Lich King. And then we come to an expansion that I actually played a lot. This is, I think, the first expansion. The first expansion for me that I reached max level and played like a lot of the end game as well. So this is like the first expansion when I played a lot. I have never raided in this game, so I have never been like a hardcore WoW player. But I just remember I played this a lot, and I think like even if Lich King is my aesthetically favorite expansion game, or the expansion, Cataclysm I have the most memories with, and like good memories. So this expansion I enjoyed a lot. And on the front here we have the expansion bad guy, or the bad guy of this expansion at least, and he is called Deathwing. It's a big dragon. A new age has begun. You have toppled the undead armies of the Lich King and brought Arthas to his knees. Now the break must burst forth from the heart of the maelstrom, and unleashed his rage upon the land and sea. Azeroth has been changed forever, and you must enter the elemental planes in an epic quest to stop the destroyer from shattering the world itself. This expansion is played in like the old world of Warcraft, in like areas where the classic game was, but they upgraded the graphics of some areas and changed them. I think it is to represent when, the Deathwing came to the world and destroyed it. So you could see how he changed the land when he entered the world and started to ravage or attack the lands. It says here, discover a world transformed, return to Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms, to find them scarred by Deathwing's rage. From the devastated Badlands to the broken barrens, the transformed lands of Azeroth host new questlines, new enemies, and new rewards. And this expansion was the first one where they didn't raise the level cap with 10. They only raised it to 85. Rise to new heights of power as you enter the elemental plane of Deepholm. Defend Abyssal Maw from a horrific kraken. Save the fabled world tree from utter destruction, and much more. And in this expansion, it didn't have a new class, but it had two new races, which was Worgen for the Alliance and Goblin for the Horde. I remember I thought the Worgens was kinda cool. When it came out, but I didn't play a lot of. I don't remember what kind of race or class I played in this expansion. I have almost switched both race and class every time a new expansion comes out, because I want some new stuff to learn a new class or play a new class and race. And here we have a burning forest, maybe with the Horde flag and a Worgen. And it says there can be no peace when the world is devoured by rage. And here we see how the Worgen meets some goblins. Oh man, okay. Because I just read this flyer mount through Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdom as you scour a world scarred by the Cataclysm. In World of Warcraft Classic, the original game, you had only mounts that could walk on the ground, but when the Burning Crusade came, the first expansion, you could actually start to fly with some mounts in the area of Burning Crusade. Crusade, you couldn't fly in the like original world where the classic game was played. You could only fly in the expansion worlds, both the Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King. But this game, because it didn't have a new area, it made so you could actually started flying in the original continents and world. And I remember that was kinda hype, because you could see stuff you couldn't before, and so for some reason I remember that very strongly. And here we have the Deathwing, the big bad guy of the expansion, fighting one of the other like elder dragons, or I don't know if it's called an elder dragon. Battle alongside the Dragon Queen as she fights to defend Azeroth from Deathwing's destructive embrace. So yeah, this is the Dragon Queen. They are like dragons that can take humanoid form, but they are really like big dragons instead. I think you meet most of them in that game. You might have met them before in Wrath of the Lich King. I'm not sure actually. But yeah, this expansion I remember fondly. It was a great expansion. And the last expansion that I have as a box, World of Warcraft Mists of Pandaria. I don't have a fancy box like these to this game, which I can't remember why. And here it says, unlock the mysteries of Pandaria. You have ended Deathwing's destructive rampage and saved the dragonflights from extinction. Now you must unlock the mysteries of the lost continent and discover the dark secrets of Pandaria's past. Explore ancient kingdoms hidden since before the Sundering. Plunder vast treasures from the depths of forgotten vaults, and rise to defend Pandaria from the shadow of a long-buried evil, before it's too late. Yeah, and this expansion is kind of interesting because it kind of has like a bad guy, but I don't think this game in specific, or this expansion in specific, had like a clear bad guy like Cataclysm or Wrath of the Lich King. There was a very common enemy in the Mists of Pandaria expansion, which is what I think is seen as like the bad guy, and that was enemies called Shah or Shay or not, something like that. They were shadows of negative emotions that could grow very strong. So you actually fought a lot of bosses that was these big shadow-like creatures, and they often had names of like Shay of the Greed or something like that, or Shay of the anger. So they were created by negative emotions. So we often fought those kind of monsters in this expansion, and I think they are seen as like the big bad guys of the expansion. I might be wrong actually, so correct me if you know, since I'm a little bit unsure of it. However, in this game, it entered a new class. Master the path of the monk. Learn the mystic powers of the monk. World of Warcraft's newest playable class. Destroy foes with the Windwalker's devastating attacks. Replenish allies with the Mistweaver's spiritual energies. And shrug off enormous damage with the Brewmaster's unyielding strength. So this class could both tank, heal, and be DPS like a damage class. Which I think for expansion classes it was the first one that could do that. Death Knight could both tank and do damage, but they could not heal. You could argue that it happened before, because paladins, when it became available for both sides, paladins could also both heal, tank and do damage. But I mean, the class already existed in World of Warcraft. It just became available for both in the Burning Crusade. So yeah, I don't know. And here they raised the max level by 5 as well, to level 90. I think after this expansion, where they only raised it by 5, they started for the new expansions after Mists of Pandaria. They made it again, so they increased the max level by 10 for each expansion. I don't know actually why. I don't know what the difference is. Maybe people wanted to have like a longer experience with leveling. But to be honest, I don't think the experience was longer or shorter, because they only had 5 levels. Because they only increased the max level by 5. Because I just think they made the leveling process slower. I'm not sure, but maybe people liked it when they increased the max level by 10. And then World of Warcraft also got a new race. Unleash the Mighty Pandaren. Set out as a member of the enigmatic Pandaren, World of Warcraft's first neutral race, and join the ranks of either the Horde or Alliance as you enter the conflict brewing on Pandaria's shores. This was the first race where after you have done the opening area or starting area, you got to choose which of the side you wanted to join. So you could either go Alliance flying so hard. Kinda interesting. And the first time they did that, I don't know if they ever plan to do that again. Because in the latest expansions you haven't got a new race actually. So for the future you might see, and some you have gotten new races, kind of. You have like gotten variations of already existing races, you might say. You need to unlock them in the other expansions, so you can create characters with the specific races. That was all the expansions and games I had as cases from World of Warcraft. I have the other games as digital copies, and I played a bit of the new expansion Shadowlands, which I enjoyed a lot. I actually, so far, now I don't play it, but I did I did play it for like 3 months or 2 months, and I really enjoyed it. I know people might or like kinda have a different opinions on it, but as a solo player and just enjoying doing quests and stuff like that on your own, I enjoyed it. Because I thought it was kind of, you could do kind of different stuff. So World of Warcraft is still a part of my gaming life ever since I was a little kid, so it's been a long time. I actually think it's the game that has stayed the longest with me, that is still relevant, or that I come back to and play. So it's not for nothing that this game is so popular and so many people know it, because many people have the same experience as me. It has been a game that has been with people for a very long time, and while many people think that the World of Warcraft has lost a little bit of its touch, I think it still provides a certain experience for sure. But I'm gonna end this video now. I hope you enjoyed me talking about these expansions and a little bit of my experience with them. So thank you for watching, and